Paperless movement, your productivity, your way.
If we use both a calendar app as well or just ClickUp, and that takes me to another concept that we talk inside ICOR and the methodology that is micromanagement is related to big goals, project, and how the business works. And micromanagement is how each person deals with the tasks and responsibilities and to-dos that he has. And here, that's why we want to share our ICOR framework and tool stack, Tom and I, because we will show that it's perfectly compatible to have an implementation of tools that it's common to the business, to the things that you share inside your team. And personally, talking about an individual level, you are allowed to use the tools that you consider that you work best with them. And that's what we will show in our case. Talking about micromanagement, it's totally different how Tom and myself work, but we share that part of the business area that you can see in the ICOR framework. In my case, I don't use a calendar. I use Sunsama that has a calendar. I was using also Aikiflow that has a calendar inside. We manage time, okay? We don't manage to do projects or whatever. It's time what we are managing, and that's why a calendar, for me, it's the right tool. But the point is that whenever you can combine, instead of using just a calendar, a task manager, in my case, it works better. But in the case of Tom, he loves using the calendar, as you will see whenever we start sharing our ICOR frameworks.
Yeah, so here, for example, Paco already mentioned that we differentiate between macro management and micromanagement. So the business part of the ICOR framework is the macro management part, and then it goes into micromanagement, the individual task management. And therefore, for example, for a long time, I didn't like managing my tasks inside ClickUp because I needed a simple task list. All right. So therefore, I was using Plixi, and that's actually a good point to explain what satellite apps are. That's actually the circle on the outside. So satellite apps are tools that just improve the overall tool stack or core apps. And the core apps, that's what you have to have the productivity system set up. And the satellite apps, they're on the outside here, improving this. The main difference between satellite apps and core apps is that you can easily remove these satellite apps without destroying or majorly affecting your overall productivity system. Whereas if we just remove ClickUp and use a different tool, we would need to migrate all the data to the different tool and so on. So Plixi, for example, is a typical satellite app that helps me to improve the overall information flow. So let's say I have tasks in ClickUp and I have tasks in Todoist. That would be my personal tasks, but I want to manage everything inside Todoist. Therefore, I could use Plixi. I can connect it with Todoist and ClickUp, and therefore the tasks that are assigned inside ClickUp to me will be synchronized, two-way synchronized to Todoist. So this means when I update or complete the things in Todoist, it will also complete them in ClickUp. And then what I had in addition, it was a two-way synchronization between my calendar and the Todoist. So therefore, everything was in sync. Whenever I got a task here, I was able to plan it out on my calendar, and it updated the due date and things like that in ClickUp. And there are many ways to do this. And I see already, Danny just mentioned Akiflow. Akiflow is something that I try to use many times, but I don't like their implementation of the two-way synchronization. It was lacking it was not a true two-way synchronization. So that was one of the things. Paco can talk a lot more about this because I'm now living mainly inside ClickUp. So I try to manage everything in ClickUp. And what I'm started to use now is Sunsama instead of Akiflow due to the better integration with ClickUp. And Paco also switched to Sunsama recently, right?
Yes, 1 month from now. That's what we were saying here in the chat. Because for me, it's crucial. Above ClickUp, I have more systems, okay, talking about project management. And for me, it's chaotic if I don't have an integrator, okay, as Sunsama is, that I can bring all the things from the different businesses because I'm running 4 different businesses. And then it becomes chaotic having to go to everyone, because at the end of the day you are just one, okay, and you need to know what your priorities are and what you are going to focus on. And those type of micro management tools are really good for me also because you can use keyboard shortcuts. It's easy to move things up and down. You're just inside your world and you know you're not affecting anybody. And when there are connections and integrations such as the one that Akiflow has with ClickUp, and also Sama, for instance, has with no other additional app, it's integrated perfectly with Slack, for instance, or ClickUp, or even Gmail, it gives you a lot of power, I would say.
It's always great when you have things like this, as long they work. As soon APIs get updated or things get out of control, it's really a problem if you have a complex setup. So that's why it's always the dream of everybody to have one tool where you can do everything in there. But you will see on our final iCore frameworks that we share then with you guys that we have a very complex setup as well, which is as simplified as possible or minimalistic as possible. But let's see what ClickUp 3.0 will bring up, because they tick a lot of boxes. Now it's just to see if they really deliver on the promises.